Welcome to Native Yoga Toddcast. So happy you are here. My goal with this channel is to bring inspirational speakers to the mic in the field of yoga, massage, bodywork, and beyond. Follow us at Native Yoga and check us out at nativeyogacenter.com. All right, let's begin. Hello, welcome to Native Yoga Toddcast. My special guest today is a return guest, Dr. Rose Erin Vaughan. I was lucky enough to have her on the show back in 2022, episode 91. And so about 3 years ago, and actually maybe 4 now, 3.5, something like that. And so today I'm very pleased and honored to bring Dr. Rose Erin Vaughan back onto the show. She is an incredible instructor. As you'll hear, I've had a chance to study with her, and so I get to ask her informed questions that I've been able to formulate since the last time I've practiced with her at a workshop she offered here in Florida. And I just want to encourage you to go follow her on Instagram at Erin_bodyaware, link in the description, and also her Science of Self website, which I have in the link in the description. If you're interested in learning how to do hands-on assist, you're curious about acupressure work while practicing yoga, and just have an overall interest in the traditional aspects of yoga, she does an incredible job of bringing it all to the table. So it's an honor and a privilege. I'm so happy you are here. Thank you, listener, for your support. Any sort of sharing that you can do to help me spread the word about this show. This is a passion project of mine, and I do release a new episode every single Friday. So remember to come back to any of your favorite listening channels like YouTube at Native Yoga, or you can find on Instagram at Native Yoga and all those other places. If you like to listen on Apple, Spotify, you can check it out every week. There's a new one. All right, let's go. We'll get started. Dr. Rose Erin Vaughan. I'm so happy to have return guest Dr. Rose Erin Vaughan. Dr. Rose Erin, how are you feeling today?
Thank you. It's really great to be back here with you again. I feel good. Yeah, I've been upstate a lot, so it's different vibes up here. But I'm about to head back to the city, and it's going to be a busy summer in New York City. So,
do you have a lot of workshops and trainings planned to teach there?
More than usual. So we have a yin yoga teacher training, and then we have the advanced training in New York City again, which we haven't done since, I guess, 2019.
Nice.
So it's been upstate all these years. And
are you excited to bring it back into the city? Are you nervous about it? What are your overall feelings?
I think it's going to be different for sure to do it back in New York City. But yeah, I'm really excited because I think a lot of people will have access to it that aren't able to leave their home responsibilities for 16 days and go upstate. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I'm excited that those people will be able to attend this year.
Well, that sounds so cool. Just so the listener is familiar, I had a chance to interview you back in 2022. That was like episode number 91. And then after getting a chance to meet you here on the podcast, you were teaching a workshop about 2 years ago in Tampa, utilizing yoga and acupressure. So I got a chance to meet you in person, which was incredible. And I loved taking workshop with you. You're a phenomenal teacher. And I really love how you have blended your acupuncture medicine degree and or practice with your yoga practice and blending that in with acupressure. I follow you on social media. The graphics that you make are incredible. I love the way that you've overlaid some of the meridian lines and acupressure points onto images of you practicing yoga, but then as a teaching tool, when I went to your workshop, I thought it was really cool and fascinating and interesting how you blended your ability in the I guess what did you tell me you used to make your graphics? It's Photoshop, I believe, or
Photoshop.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so just the way that you've been able to combine your study and training within the world of meridian therapy and acupuncture and acupressure, yoga, and then coming up with incredible teaching graphics. I just am really impressed by your work. So I'm excited to be here. I've also have a copy of one of your books. Can you remind me and the listener what some of the titles of your books are?
Well, there's the first one was Science of Self, but then it's got a subtitle which I can't fully remember, something about yoga, organs, emotions, and pathways, something like that.
Yeah.
So that was sort of the introduction to the whole idea of looking inward and feeling the specific energy channels um, to really inform your asana practice, I believe is what Hatha Yoga was originally about, really feeling the movement of energy and learning to direct the movement of energy. And then there's the pain book came later. That was more about specific acupressure points and how to use those more therapeutically. So to open up your practice, your postures, but also for different conditions like back pain or even mental health issues, anxiety, depression, things like that.
Yeah.
Really common issues.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's two other ones. Then we have the yoga practice manual is for the advanced training. It's basically the advanced teacher training manual. So it's got all the more advanced asanas and sequences for the meridians in there. And then there's one more. And then the Points and Pathways book is just strictly like a reference manual for the energy lines and points, the meridians. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you for reminding me. I got to get more of your books. I really do enjoy the one that I have. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey of blending acupuncture and yoga and how you developed your meridian yoga technique?
Yeah. I studied first yoga. So I first was practicing yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and then I studied massage therapy. So I had a license in massage therapy. And I was specializing in myofascial release and trigger point manual release. And then so I had studied a lot of just anatomy, fascia anatomy, stuff like that, which I still am obsessed with. And then but I wanted to learn dry needling. That's what got me into acupuncture. I really was not interested in the meridian lines in the beginning. I thought it was just kind of like made up, you know. And so um so I wanted, but I had to get my license. So I had to go to school for basically 4 more years to get my degree in acupuncture. And of course, along the way, I really saw the beauty of the energy lines, the 12 meridian system. And in order to, I guess, in order to memorize all the things I had to memorize to pass my board exam, I um I started studying during my 2 hour asana practice. At the time I was with Dharma Mitra. And so I had developed sort of a home practice that was based on his sequence. And for time efficiency, I decided that I was going to study while I was doing my asana practice. And so I would choose one meridian. I would choose, say, I would focus on the stomach meridian for the entire practice and just try to remember where the points were and feel them inside my body. Now, this particular meridian starts under your eyelids, like in your lower eyelids, and then it goes all the way down the front of your body into your second toe. So it's very specific. Um, and then internally, it goes into your digestive tract, which is a big organ because it's covering from your throat all the way down to the bottom. So that one I remember might have been the first one where I really realized that it was doing something besides helping me memorize it, it was changing the way I was practicing
Mm.
and doing my back bends and and lunges and things like that. I could start to feel where I was stuck in the postures because I was focusing on the entire line instead of just trying to push my body into a specific position. I was focusing deeper
Yes.
and doing a sort of a body scan while I was learning it. So it just like it blew my mind. And I was like, there's something really important to develop with this. And so I just kept obsessing over it. And when I did the first teacher training, I was I wasn't quite clear on like I knew what I wanted to teach, but I wasn't sure if anyone was going to understand it.
Yeah.
Or feel what I had felt, but they did. And so that really they did. And it really, really inspired me to keep developing it and to make the book um and
Amazing.
help people feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? When did that book get published?
It was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've had
Yeah.
10 years of field study now in relation to applying this idea to students,
Mhm.
other teachers, other yoga teachers that are wanting to deepen their practice, but also share this with their students. What are
Mhm.
some of the takeaways that you are finding after having like a whole decade to interact with people now on this level?
I mean, people just take it and run with it. It sort of teaches itself.
That's
So
cool.
that seeing that is what inspires me to keep teaching it and keep working and developing new stuff,
Yeah.
new ways of using it with asana. We're doing like adjustments now, and those are blowing my mind. And people just feel it immediately that this is something new
Yeah.
and or not new. I mean, it's ancient, but it's something that they haven't felt before, and it just seems like so natural automatically. It's in our bodies. It's not made up, which is what I originally, I was really skeptical of the whole system before I
Yeah.
studied it,
Yeah.
but it's really there. It's really powerful.
Yeah, me too, Rose Erin, as well. When I first came across meridians within Thai massage and I saw charts and I saw lines, I thought, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. That'll be something that maybe I'll get to one day. And it is really incredible the more you actually put time in on it and try to make it a personal, experiential
Hmm.
process. Then I like the fact that you, through the attempt to try to do two things at once, like I have to study and I also want to practice. Well, let me blend these two together. I love how that's like organically started to unfold. But doesn't it seem like really important to actually make it experiential so that it's a direct experience thing versus a teacher telling you, here, push on this point and that'll help your stomach. But to actually meditate while you're putting pressure on the point and then try to feel what's happening within the realm of the stomach. Like, can you talk a little bit about the importance of experience versus theory?
Yeah, that's really important. I talk about that a lot. How the point may not be where the book says they are. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I think what I want to do is get people to really try to feel something instead of following the instructions. Because sometimes the acupressure point location is really specific. It's described, 3 inches from this point or whatever. I'm like, you can memorize all of that and be really technically accurate, but you might not feel it and actually experience it. And my teacher of acupuncture, who was the founder of the school that I went to, and I was really lucky to intern with him and study closely with him, he said, you should memorize all this stuff to pass the board exam and then completely erase it from your mind. Like, forget all of it because it's going to prevent you from seeing what's actually there.
Mm, that's
So
interesting.
it's like you use the meridian lines and the point locations as a guideline to what might be there. But then you really have to feel it. And and also the way that it was developed is that people felt something and then came together and decided this is, this is most likely where these lines are, because this, we all agree that this is what we feel. So really, you could reinvent it if you really paid attention and did what they did, which was basically yoga and meditation, looking inward, really concentrating on what they actually felt in themselves and maybe in other people's bodies. You should be able to rediscover it.
Mm.
And if then it's not real. It's not valuable unless it's really there and really written in the body.
Amazing. So, how much importance do you place on, for example, maybe I take a posture like bound angle where we sit, I sit, you sit, we sit with our feet together and our knees
Mhm.
are kind of opened up. And maybe I have a little bit of knee pain in my left knee. And so I just sit there. I don't put a lot of pressure on the pose. I just kind of get it where it's relatively comfortable. And I take a thumb or two thumbs and just start pushing along muscle lines into musculature. And if I use my mind in a way where when I'm pushing, I use positive slash mental awareness or energy or thought toward, I would like for this pressure point to help me alleviate some pain in my knee. How important do you feel the direction of the mental energy is in relation to the power of the point versus the combination of the power of the point with the mental energy toward what it is we hope could occur?
Well, yeah, I think you need to listen more than have an intention,
Mm,
especially if you're working on yourself, because well, we're not really, we don't know what the problem is. That's the problem, is that we
mm.
don't know what the problem is. And
Meaning like the pain
so
might
your
be
knee,
there, but we don't know that it's the knees, the
yeah,
problem.
your
Yeah.
knee hurts, but the point that you need to work on is maybe in your foot, or maybe in your hip, or maybe in your abdomen, like around, it could be your psoas, it could be your navel, it could be really anywhere, because the channels that go through your knee go into your head and your feet. So, but I think that in exploring that, what, of course, you want your knee to stop hurting, but do you want to understand why your hip is tight? And in this profound way that asks you to reveal deeper layers of your mind, really, like why is your body holding itself that way habitually? Why is your body gripping in this one area, which I think of as uh usually some kind of defense mechanism of the body, whether it's physical defense because maybe you push yourself too far in a posture, or you injured something somewhere along the way and your body is still sort of afraid of going in this one direction, or it's psychological, more emotional, where you hate your job situation, or you were worried about something that you have no control over, and this is how you defend yourself. This is the posture that your body has taken because of the way, the way that you relate to the world.
Mm,
Is deep.
yeah.
It has to
Yeah.
do with your beliefs about yourself, your beliefs about the world, about your potential. And that's, to me, that's why yoga, or hatha yoga, physical yoga postures, are so powerful in revealing your own the obstacles on your path to ultimate, self-realization. Is really, the obstacle is your mind. but your mind is in your body. And then you have this one pain, you have knee pain, and but your mind just says, I want my knees to stop hurting. But if you understand where, how to follow that knee pain into the depth of your abdomen, for example, and then you can see these deep holding patterns. And then you understand the organs and how they're related to these aspects of your mind. And so then you're connecting your spleen or your liver, your gallbladder or something to your knee pain. It sounds funny if you haven't studied the system, but it's really about, how you're reacting to your life, to the world around you.
Yeah, I don't think that sounds silly at all. I do understand what you mean where it sounds silly because if you've never come across some of these ideas, then it could be like, what?
Liver,
But
yeah.
it seems like you're really pointing in the direction of seeking root causes versus superficial
Yeah.
reactions
Yeah,
to
and your knee pain doesn't need to go away. Your knee pain may never go away, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it probably will, but it's the journey of really, to me, of unwinding that and getting to the root of it that reveals these parts of yourself that you may have buried so deep. And that's where your truth is. We I believe that. We hold the truth that we are looking for in life, in our yoga path, in meditation, is in there. It's not out there. It's in your body. And you just have to follow it follow these clues into the depths of your body. We talk a lot about the navel, like deep in the abdomen, but also deep in your chest, in your heart and in your diaphragm. And that's where your chakras are, the pelvic floor and deeper inside the body
Hmm.
where these energy centers are located.
It's fascinating. I hear you, Erin. Can you? I had an opportunity since I saw you to interview Gil Headley, who's a
Mm,
well-known body worker and anatomist. And then I had a chance to see him on his tour where he did the nerve tree. He actually, I mean, I don't want to offend anybody if this offends them, but cadaver work where he actually dissected the entire nerve tree from someone and someone that donated their body to science.
sure.
And it was so amazing to see the nerve plexi that are in each of the areas that the chakras are in our,
Mm,
when we see the chakra maps. So I just was, for me, I had a moment of like, these actually are real. Like at first, like kind of like what you said when you first started seeing the meridians and the ideas, you thought, oh, maybe that's not real. But now you're starting to piece together validity to it. And when I saw the actual nerve plexi from the nerve tree matching up in similar places to like the sacral plexus and the abdomen and at the heart and at the throat and at the along the brain stem. So I was like, oh my gosh, it is pretty
mm.
obvious that there are these energy centers. Can you talk a little bit about your experience of working with pressure needles, acupressure, acupuncture, understand or attempting to understand the nerve tree and the chakra system that comes with yoga? Can you just talk a little bit about some of the discoveries you might have made?
I haven't studied the nerve tree.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I've, I have studied the nervous system, but I haven't looked at that in depth
Mm,
in terms of actual cadaver study. I have done some cadaver dissection, which I found really, really, really fascinating. And I think that if you can handle it, if people could handle it, they should do it because you can appreciate more the complexity of the body down to the microscopic level and how intelligent it is. Um, So I really respect his work, Gil Headley. I really think he's amazing because I mean, he's a scientist, but he's got this other uh, perspective of energy anatomy
Yes. Yes.
that's a very rare person that's combining those things. So I really respect him a lot. Um, I would love to study with him actually. Maybe one day I will get to take his course.
Yeah.
But but yeah, in terms of acupuncture, it's sort of, I mean, acupuncture is funny because it's almost like surgery in a way because you're penetrating. So you have to know a lot of anatomy because you have to know where your needle is going and the depth, I go pretty deep because I do dry needling. So I'm inside the body. It's different from massage or acupressure, where your body has a defense mechanism of the skin and the fascial layers. And would you put the needle through the skin, you have gone into the inner space, like
Yeah.
outer space. Inner space is this very physical, but also just it's alive. It's the energy anatomy, and you're touching it, and it's the needles are metal, so it's conducting energy. And if you train yourself, you can feel through the needle um, really amazing things, and
Wow.
and feel how the body is resisting or reacting or shifting and changing. And yeah, that's beautiful. It's such a privilege to be able to work with energy in that way. I mean, I wouldn't say I do energy work because the acupuncture work that I do is very physical. It's hooking into the fascia, it's in the muscles, often it's in the muscle, and it's like when you fish, like fishing, you're like waiting. I don't know if people might be offended by that too, but if
I don't think we have
you've
to worry
ever
about.
been
I know.
fishing and then
I
it's
know. We think
like,
about everything we say, like thinking
right, I know.
twice, like, oh no. But I agree with
And
you.
then
Yes.
but
Yes.
but it's like you
Yes.
can feel these little tugs,
Yeah.
like when something is biting it, but
Yeah.
you don't know what it is
Yeah.
sometimes. But
Yeah.
that's like acupuncture's like that. Like you're waiting, you want to feel the slightest little shifts and changes inside the body. And then you have to like grab, watch it grab. You have to know how to not lose the fish, and
Yeah.
and follow through so you can get a big release sometimes in people. And then there's a huge emotional release. I mean, I always tell people you're not going to get a big physical release without having an emotional repercussions. There's going to be it might not happen immediately, but there's going to be a shift in your energy body means a shift in your emotions. And then your mind follows that. Like they say, the mind, the prana and the chitta follow each other. So you're moving the energy, the prana, your mind is going to follow that. It's going to change the way you see things. And if you're used to meditating and paying attention to your mind changing, then you'll notice it. But I
Yes.
warn
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
like if they have a big release, I'm like, later
Yeah.
on you might feel really emotional.
Yeah. Nah, I hear ya. Can
You
you?
might yell at somebody even. Sometimes if I feel like people are holding a lot of anger
Yeah.
and then it releases, I'm like, you might watch out for that later and realize that that's what it is.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I really hope that you're enjoying this episode, and I just wanted to take a moment to announce a course that I'm really excited to release. It's a free course, and it's called 8 in 8 Learn 8 Limb Yoga in 8 Days. My goal is to help coach you along in the Ashtanga yoga practice in a way where we take just the sun salutations, the fundamental asanas, and the final breathing poses, break it down with some philosophy videos as well, explaining the 8 limbs of Ashtanga yoga in a very easy to use, friendly course that is totally free. Click the link below, check it out. Let me know what you think. All right, let's get back to the episode. Yeah.
Happening.
Good advice.
Yeah.
And to not
Go
be
ahead.
scared of it. To not be scared of it. Yeah. Just like accept it. Like, okay, a little anger
But
float out
also
there.
not necessarily project it onto
Yeah.
other people and
Yeah.
just realize that you're dealing with emotions that are coming up because of the physical release.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you are working on people. You are working on yourself. Do you let people work on you?
You mean acupuncture?
Acupuncture, acupressure, doing assists on you. Like, I guess something that happens, something I've noticed working in the field for a while, I get a little bit selective now. I want to make sure that when someone starts pushing and pulling on me and working on me, that they're coming in with intentions that are clear and clean. And so I feel safe and comfortable. So I'm wondering, like, you've been at this for a long time. Do you have somebody that you trust that you allow work with you? And I guess the reason I'm asking this question is because do you feel how important do you feel it is to trust somebody else to dry needle, acupressure press, hold space for the ability to relax? Because it is different. Like if you just work on yourself, if I just work on myself and I just start pressing and meditating and feeling what's happening and try to follow where that energy is going, and versus if I just let go and let somebody else do that and just let them do that work and me just be quiet and try to relax and enjoy and whatever happens when you're receiving some treatment. Can you just talk a little bit about your own personal feelings around this question?
Yeah, I do not get acupuncture from anyone, but I do it to myself. But I do get massage. I have a really good massage person, but it's pretty basic. So I'm thinking, this is just like bladder meridian. This is like she's working on a lot of yang channels. So she's good, but it's not like profoundly changing or deeply transformative.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, okay, get your back body to relax so you can just breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do get this may sound bad, but I trust the people that I train to do abdominal work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we do work on the back, but we do a lot of abdominal work around the navel, in the psoas, in the iliacus, in the diaphragm, and in the armpits, because we're doing heart related stuff in the armpits and chest. So we're kind of doing all the acupressure stuff that you can't get from a regular massage therapist. They won't do it. I've asked for it and they won't do it. At least in here, I've heard that in other countries they do more abdominal massage, but I'm not sure if it's the same as what we're doing as deep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I love getting that deeper work. I need it. It's very healing. But yeah, I like working with the people that I've trained.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to get feedback, stay in communication. So we talk about that a lot when you're working with in the abdomen, deep in the abdomen and in the diaphragm, that you really coach people on their breath. So it's not like the kind of body work where you just like go space out and you're asleep and you sort of disappear for an hour.
Yeah.
What we're doing requires constant, breathe a little bit deeper, a little bit more, and then exhale, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. because the breath is so important in creating energetic shifts in the deeper physical body.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need that. I need it, but it's hard to find. But
I hear you.
there's some people that I trust. Yeah.
Cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Can you talk about like when you do your training that's coming up in New York City?
Mhm.
I really enjoyed how you had us partner up and work with each other, use a slide projector, put the slides up, give an idea of where these particular points are, then have us
Mhm.
partner up and do some pressure work with each other and trade and that type of thing. Can you talk about if are you still working with that format? Have you adopted any new, or have you discovered a more, I don't want to say more efficient, but like efficient ways to help educate? I'm just so curious. I think your education process is great. I just love to hear from an educator's point of view, like what you're finding is working as a good way to convey this
Mhm.
information.
Yeah, I mean the pictures help. I mean, I'm all about pictures, so most of my books are full of those pictures and diagrams. So I do think it's important to give people a visual of where the lines and points are. But yeah, the hands-on work is everything. So they're working in partners, and it's amazing to watch. It's so beautiful to see people do that and really try to help each other and discover and feel, you know, receive, because half the time you're receiving. So that's really transformative. But then just gaining the confidence to trust your intuition, to trust what you feel in your hands when you're working on people. And I think people are afraid sometimes they're going to hurt somebody, so we have to work um with those fears, and then but once you feel it and you see somebody benefit and say that they feel better, that's so amazing and empowering for people.
Yes.
It's really beautiful to watch. I mean, one thing that's newer that we've been doing is working with postures. I mean, we have been doing adjustments, acu adjustments, for a few years, but I feel like we developed a solid set of acu adjustments. So we have um, postures, a good set of postures, and always developing more where we, instead of just having people lay on a mat and practice all the points, we, which is what we do in level one. In level one, you just learn the points and you just have them basically in shavasana and you're doing the points. But then in the adjustments training, we're in Paschimottanasana doing bladder meridian, and then it's like, wow, then you can really feel it, because when you go into that forward fold, you have created a stretch of that myofascial pathway. So that's a simple one because it's just the superficial back line of the body. And so then we have like a few cues, like drop your head instead of looking at your toes, look down to further this, make the stretch complete of the entire channel, and flex your feet if you have that flexibility to do that. And now press on the points, right? Now do kidney 1 or bladder 10 at the base of the skull, or the sacral points. And it's like, wow,
Yes.
because there's already this strain or stretch in the fascia. So the energy moves really fast through the points, and then and people, and also it helps people go deeper into the poses if that's what they're interested in, and they see
Yeah.
a result really fast.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And we have a good set of adjustments now.
That's so
We
cool.
just finished that training, so we probably won't do it again until next year, but
Amazing.
uh, we are incorporating those into some of those into the other trainings, the advanced training. And
That
yeah.
sounds fun. I want to take that one with you. That sounds amazing. Are
Yeah,
you
come. It's fun.
are you going as far as like say when somebody's doing a leg raise, you come over, help them hold their leg up and hold specific points while I mean, you could literally do that probably in every single posture, right?
Good.
Or are
Yeah.
you focusing mostly on like ones where they're balanced? I mean, I would think from a teaching perspective, okay, let them sit down. Like, let's not try to coordinate. The challenge of teaching somebody how to hold someone's leg in the air without knocking their balance off. So probably starting with the seated ones. And then I guess once you get the idea and you memorize a few points, you could just work those points. So
Mhm.
are you at the point where, maybe like, for example, that particular pose, if someone came in and said, if I came up to you or before class said, Erin, I'm having knee pain, you're probably like, it's not your knees, dude. It's like something else deeper than that. But like maybe I have my leg up in the air. Are you getting to that point where you're thinking, all right, let me focus on this one particular meridian, push on these points with the idea of helping whatever it is that person is saying they have a problem with?
Yeah. I
Why
mean,
not?
if it was
Yeah.
that pose, like we do Baddha Konasana, that's what you're talking about, I guess. So we would do like I would do probably Supta Baddha Konasana also and press because then you can get a lot of the uh points on the front of the hip joint
Mm,
and then do the points in the feet that would correspond to those lines.
yeah.
And then maybe have you sit up in Baddha Konasana, maybe fold forward and do some of the young points, the gallbladder, liver points, or whatever.
Yeah.
That would, but we would see. You know what I mean? I don't know until I press on it, and then and you don't know until you feel the points, which is which channel it is, or which point would help you, or what it is that's being revealed. I mean, and you may just have a knee injury too,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be emotional in origin,
Yeah. Yeah.
but also pain is emotional. So it's always emotional, but it's not necessarily emotional in origin, um but yeah, you can adapt any adjustment. If you know any adjustment, I can show you which points so that instead of just, pressing on their hip, you can be real specific.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this specific point in the hip is where you can apply the most pressure. And it's just it's cool because you don't have to use as much pressure and you get the same effect. So in a way it's a lot safer as well.
That makes sense.
People do get injured in adjustments, probably more than more than any other part of yoga class
Yes.
is adjustments is when people, I mean, they benefit from it, but that's when people tend to get injured. So I'm all for like using the feet and hand points so you don't have to press into the big joints,
Yeah.
or just, using less pressure and being more specific to release the fascial lines instead of just pushing down on a person.
That makes sense. I mean, if somebody listening is a budding yoga teacher that hasn't had any practice doing any hands-on assists and they're listening and they're going, what? I can't wait to go teach tomorrow. I'm going to start just pushing on some points. What kind of advice could you give us to just help us make sure that, well, I'm guessing you agree. I feel like I don't want to assume anything. Do you think that you need to ask permission from somebody before you start pressing on them? I may.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it's an
I think
obvious
so.
answer, but I just want to ask it. I just figured you would say
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I tell people in our adjustments training that I'm assuming that you want an adjustment if you took my adjustments training.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
otherwise, I would always ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even I don't like it. I don't like people to come up to me and just press on me. I'm one of those people, that like you better ask me first. I might like it, I might not.
Yeah. Understood.
Because I know I have things going on and I'm trying to do it myself internally.
Yeah.
So I really respect that people are also, you don't know if somebody has an injury. And I might think like, oh, they could go deeper. And then I'm just going to push them down. And they were actually going as deep as they could. And they don't want to smash their meniscus or their labrum or whatever. So
Yeah.
I do think it's very important to ask people,
Yes. Great
you know.
advice. Great advice. I'm glad you said that. Is I noticed when you mentioned Ashtanga, you mentioned Dharma when I was with you in Tampa. That was at a place that utilized postures from the 84 classic series from Bishnu Ghosh. And then from noticing, just watching what you do, it seems that you seem inspired by those poses as well. Can you speak a little bit about where you're at now in relation to designing your own yoga sequences, and how much are you pulling from one specific teacher style, or do you feel like at this point you've created or are integrating all that you've learned to have your own specific style? I mean, I feel like everybody has their own specific style once they've trained with
Yeah.
different people, but are you pulling from one particular thing more than another that you feel is really beneficial these days?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that. I'm kind of because I mean my personal practice and what I teach in the advanced training is the what we call the master sequence. But it's it's been evolving. So it started as a lot of Dharma Mitra and Ashtanga and Bikram, like you said, all those things combined together. But then when I really started studying the Hatha Pradipika, because um, I wanted to study it, and then I started teaching it maybe 3 years ago. Um, and it's wild. It's like
It's a
it's a
wild
crazy
text. I mean,
it's a crazy thing to teach because
yeah,
it's just like ridiculous. Some of the parts are just ridiculous.
yeah.
But then I teach it with the Yoga Sutras, which is a nice balance. Um but anyway, it talks it sort of brings out helps you understand what the more traditional actual physical practices were. And especially the mudras and bandhas. So I've made a sequence that includes the all of the asanas. I mean, it's questionable what they're talking about sometimes in terms of which specific. There's like 15 asanas, but the descriptions are not very thorough.
And the names
So
don't necessarily match up with the description in relation to a name that
that's
we
right.
have learned from our class taking. Then we go, well, wait a minute, which pose are we talking about? And
Right.
it's
The
fascinating.
names
Yeah,
changed.
yeah,
Nobody agrees on exactly what they're talking about.
yeah.
But I've been working with that for a few years, and so I started incorporating some of those postures and and also the mudras, like yoga mudra and Mahabandha and Mahabeda and Mahamudra. Those things are really powerful. So now when I teach the master sequence, I usually incorporate all of those. I just got in the habit of practicing it that way. And we
Yeah.
just made we're making in the work a new poster of all of of this sequence in its final format. I don't know
Cool.
if it's really
Cool.
final, but
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's final, but you know how that goes.
Yes.
So it's been evolving over the past whatever 10 or 12 years, and I think it's really good now, and it has a lot more of the traditional practices where we're doing a little bit of breath retention even toward the end of class and more deeper internal focal points.
Yeah. Cool. In relation
Yeah.
to into the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it seems like it's not teaching like a vinyasa flow style. Do this, jump into that, and then float from this and fly over there. I could be wrong, but it seems more like here's the pose, practice the pose. And then are you having like a shavasana in between each pose so that there's like this kind of absorbing what happened after holding the pose so you can really meditate and feel what maybe sort of effect the pose had? How are you linking the poses that you're utilizing from your understanding of the Hatha Yoga Pradipika?
That's a good question. I mean, we still do a very, very strong vinyasa practice, but in probably the first three quarters of the class.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yep.
the end, the last quarter of the class where it becomes more meditative and we're holding these postures. We don't do shavasana, like laying down shavasana, but we take a moment to sit and meditate with eyes closed
Yeah.
in between the postures.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's really important so that you can feel the energy shift or just, whatever happened. I don't want to
Yeah.
tell people
Yeah.
what to feel,
Yeah.
so I don't
Yeah.
say that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
just see, close your eyes and concentrate um, after those deeper postures. And because you've done such a long warm up and moving your breath and energy, it happens really fast.
Mm.
By the time you get to the end of class and you do your bandhas and breath retention and focus, it just works. Where if you started with that, your mind and your energy would be more difficult to focus, but
Yeah.
it's so cool. It's amazing. It After all these years of practicing that I was still like, wow, this actually works. They're
Yes. That's so
amazing.
cool. So your still light bulb is still getting lit up regularly. Like, oh my
My life,
gosh. Like that light bulb that where you're like, oh my goodness, this really works. Like we just have
it
that.
works.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes you back home.
Yeah.
That in the beginning, it just seems weird. Even when you close your eyes and focus and you're able to see light or whatever, it's like, whoa, that's weird. But then that becomes your home. And you
Yeah.
just want to go home sometimes and be there and stay there. And
Yes.
that's what the practice is for. Just
Yeah.
like keep going back.
Yeah. Very cool. One of the things I loved about your workshop is we did the Gayatri Mantra. And then, so because someone said, let's do Gayatri Mantra 108 times, you said, well, we're going to have to go fast because otherwise this is going to take a really long time. So then you had this like going like, Om Bor Bhuvaswaha Tatsavitur Varinyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi
Yeah.
Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. And it was like, so amazing, like the speed and the tempo and the feeling of the group doing it. And the people that came to your workshop, like if I attempted to do that maybe with a new group of people or just teaching a workshop somewhere where I don't know who's going to show up, like I feel like you drew in serious practitioners, like people that were really serious about their yoga practice. At least that's the way it felt to me. So I guess one thing I just want to say I really appreciate is that you're blending and bringing all these different aspects of yoga practice into your classes and workshops. So it feels like we're getting a traditional experience. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you still utilizing mantra practice on a regular basis? Is that something that still calls and speaks to you? Is that something that
Mhm.
you've put on hold for a little bit? What are you learning from your practice in that realm these days?
We still do the Gayatri Mantra.
Hmm.
I think it's really beautiful. It's a prayer of devotion and guidance for guidance. And I've noticed doing that mantra in particular, but we do some other mantra, like the purification mantra the Dharma teaches. I think it really does help people have the right intention in just being there and coming together. I think I think it's important to understand what that mantra means while you're chanting it. But then chanting in general and being together with people and that the resonance of the sound is, and also the rhythmic breathing, all of that is just so powerful. That's coming from somewhere else. I believe that that's divine. That's you're praying. That's a prayer to God. And so you want God to be there and you want this to be um you know guided by the divine, by God. And so if you it's I tell people, if you don't believe in this, you don't have to do it. but if you don't believe in it, then you might as well do it because it doesn't matter. It's not, it's just some
Oh,
noises.
that's a
It's
great
the noise
point.
you can make.
That's a
Huh?
great point. That's a great point. If you don't believe it, then why are we so fearful of doing it? That's a really good point.
It's funny,
Oh, I
but
like
most
that.
people love
Yeah.
it. They
Yeah.
just want to do it. And
Yeah.
if they don't, I think that's cool too,
Yeah.
because they probably have a reason, they believe in something else or they have a strong belief. So it's like if you have a strong belief and you believe God is with you and you have your own prayer, then you should be doing that. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to do this prayer.
Yeah.
As long as you feel connected to something, that's what's really important.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Can you offer any tips, advice or insights for those of us that are wanting to go a little bit deeper into our meditation practice?
For meditation.
Yeah. Like if I'm going to choose to just sit quietly,
Mhm.
not engage in more than one asana, because obviously whatever pose we pick to meditate in is we're practicing some
Yeah.
sort of posture. So if
Yeah, I
I,
think the preparation is important. So, you should, I'm sure people will not agree with what I'm saying, but I don't think you should have to meditate for that long. But I think you should, because if you prepare your mind, let's say you have right diet and then you have right exercise. So you're doing asana or qigong or whatever, some kind of exercise where you're moving energy, and then you're doing pranayama or some kind of breathing or chanting, because chanting is pranayama. Then your mind is already, you have prepared your mind. And then I think what the Yoga Sutras teaches about meditation is that you have to concentrate. And I think sometimes people think like the longer they meditate, the better. Like you're going to meditate for 3 hours, but you're not meditating. You're thinking, your mind is just going all over the place. But what if you decided to actually concentrate on something for 10 minutes? That's not very easy. But that's what the Yoga Sutras is talking about. It's
yeah,
not, I'm not saying you shouldn't do mindfulness meditation, which is where you just sit and your mind goes wherever. That's cool. It's great. I think it's really healing to just sit and do nothing, be able to do that. But I think that actual meditation requires discipline where you have to actually try to hold your mind on something.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think that's what it says in the Yoga Sutras. I
yeah,
mean, I'm just
yeah,
reading it and
yeah,
it's saying that you have to hold your mind on something, like choose an object
yeah,
to focus on, preferably awareness itself,
yes,
whatever, that
yes.
can't really be an object, but try to discipline your mind. But I don't think that you can do that for a long time without getting really angry and frustrated. So it's like, okay, can you do that for 30 seconds?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then no, just see how hard that is, and then relax, and then come back to it, right? Because those are the things you need: abhyasa and vairagyam. You need the discipline, you need the effort to stay in one point, and also the non-attachment. And that's all you need to achieve yoga, according to Patanjali.
nice. Great advice.
Did you hear me?
I did. I did. Thank you.
Okay. I didn't know if the internet was like a little funny for a second.
No, actually, everything came through perfect. Thank you so much. Super
Yeah.
clear. I know I have just a few more minutes with you, and so I guess
It's cutting out a little bit.
is it a little bit? Maybe I'm cutting out a little bit. You're
I
kind
can
of,
hear you.
oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I guess I'm thinking yamas and niyamas, and one of my favorites is santosha.
It is cutting out. I don't know
Uh-oh.
what to do about that.
Uh-oh. Well, the good thing is that your voice is coming through, and
Do you think it's my internet?
well, the good news is that your voice is coming through. So even if we get a
You're
little bit of
frozen.
a little bit of
I'm going to change to a different one.
all right, let's give it a try. Yeah, you look frozen. Oh, I see blinking. You look like you're blinking. No, it doesn't look like you're blinking. There you are. I can see you
Can you
smiling.
hear me now?
I can.
Okay, good. It works now. I changed my internet
Yay,
source.
yay. I don't know if you heard my last question, but one of my
No.
favorite niyamas is Santosha. I guess one of the reasons I love Santosha so much is because I came across the word because when at one point I saw a surfboard shaper in Australia had a surfboard company called Santosha, and I had no
Uh-huh.
idea that Santosha meant contentment. So I was like, wow, that's such a cool surfboard. And I just really fell in love with this board. And then later on, when I got into yoga and I found out that there was a word called Santosha that meant contentment, it was a niyama. Then I really fell in love with that surfboard. I was like, man, that thing was so cool. So I guess I would love to hear your thoughts on Santosha. Can we
Mhm.
cultivate contentment just through the desire to be content, and or your feeling of how important cultivating contentment is for our health and well-being?
Wow, that's so cool. That's a
Thank
good
you.
teaching.
Thank you, Roseanne.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that that's so important. And yes, I think you can be content in any moment. I mean, it's about returning to the heart, you know. That's what Dharma always says, you know, you have to cultivate the backup light. So you're going to lose all the things that you rely on for your happiness. He would say, like, did you realize you're getting 40% of your happiness from your iPhone? And, you know, like 20% from the way you look, because you still like the way you look right now. You know,
Yeah.
and then you're going to lose that one by one, and then you're going to be miserable.
Good
So, but
point.
if you practice in the Yoga Sutras, it talks about the light, something like the light beyond sorrow. That's a translation, but as a, so that's in your heart. You just know that there's this happiness or some kind of bliss that it doesn't depend on any circumstances. And that's sort of content. I mean, you can have contentment if you have this kind of happiness that doesn't rely on any external circumstances or internal circumstances. It's just permanent. And it's your nature. So all you have to do is just go inside and remember that's who you are. You're just already happy.
Yes. Thank
Right.
you. Thank you, Roseanne. I really am grateful for this opportunity. I was excited to have you back on the show on the first podcast, and time has slipped away, but I'm so grateful that you accepted my invitation to come back on again. And I really, really appreciate the work you do. And I think you do an incredible job. So anybody listening, I highly recommend to go and sign up for a training or a session and practice with you, because you put your heart into it, and you've put a ton of time and energy into developing your format and the way you convey the information. So I'm very grateful for the work that you do.
Thank you. Thanks for the work you're doing.
I,
That's amazing.
Thank you. Well, until next time, and I hope I can get a chance to either travel up north, or I don't know if you're planning to come back to Florida anytime soon, but
Sure, I will.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hopefully we could have you here next time you're in this neck of the woods. That'd be amazing.
Good, good.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Roseanne. Thank you.
Okay. You take care.
You too. Native Yoga Toddcast is produced by myself. The theme music is dreamed up by Bryce Allen. If you like this show, let me know. If there's room for improvement, I want to hear that too. We are curious to know what you think and what you want more of, what I can improve. And if you have ideas for future guests or topics, please send us your thoughts to info@Native Yoga Center. You can find us at nativeyogacenter.com. And hey, if you did like this episode, share it with your friends, rate it and review, and join us next time.